Evening, how are we all doing? Hope that we're all doing well. Happy Sunday evening. Just got back from the fireworks. Hope you've all had a really good weekend yourselves. Just going to drop a couple of invites. So talk amongst yourselves while you're waiting. If you're catching up on the podcast, if you're catching up on replay, then feel free to skip a good minute or so before I give an introduction. So hope that we're doing well. Episode 21. 21, how cool is that? So hopefully my audio is working nice and clear. So if it's nice, loud and clear, just give me some thumbs up in the comments and let me know you're here. Let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to jump in and have a chat and welcome you here. And if this is your first time of watching an Always Better Than Yesterday interview session, then please do drop a little red love heart emoji. Let me come and appreciate you. Let me come and say thank you for joining. And if you are a loyal, Always Better Than Yesterday return listener, viewer, or watcher, drop a blue love heart emoji. Let me appreciate you. Let me say thank you for returning, because it is for you guys that I do this, and I love it. It's so much fun. So much fun. So a couple more invites going out. See if we can get as many people to join our conversation as possible. There we go. So a few people on. Hayley is on. What is up? How are we doing? Good to see you. Let me just make sure the camera's good. Lisa's on. So yeah, we've just got back from the fireworks. I have a hot chocolate rammed full of... I shouldn't say that because I didn't get Lisa on, but rammed full of marshmallows. Sorry, babe. So I hope that we're doing well. I say episode 21 of the Always Better Than Yesterday interview session. So if you haven't joined one of these before, let me just give a very quick explanation. So these are all about helping you understand the habits and the mindset of successful, inspiring people. I'm, as I always say every week, a curious little monkey, and I love to ask questions. I love to get to know people. I love to really understand what motivates, what drives people. And I genuinely believe that what makes the great separate from the good is the way that they think, because I think the way they think will inform the way that they act, and I think the way they act will inform the results that they get. So that's what these are all about, helping you understand how different people think, really. So I'm just going to make sure that our guest for tonight is on, which she isn't, so I'm just going to drop a quick message. So yeah, if you have any questions for me, then do drop them in the comments and I shall answer them, whatever they might be. And I'm just going to send a message to my guest. So first order, a bit of an introduction around how I came across my guest, because I've been talking with quite a lot of people recently, and they always kind of say to me, "Where do you meet these awesome people? How do you get connected with these awesome people?" And I guess this is the thing where you start. Well, for me personally, where I've started putting out my authentic self, where I've started putting out my, my purpose, what I love to do, what I'm curious to find out about the world. It just opens my mind to people who are putting out similar things. And right, okay. There's been a time change. Oh no! So these things never go without hiccup. These things never go without hiccups. So, guess what has happened last night? There's been a time change. There's been a clock change. So the clocks went back last week for us in England. The clocks have gone back in America tonight. So, my guest is currently on their way home. So I'm just going to find out how long they're going to be. I tell you what, these interview sessions, if anything, have taught me how to respond under pressure. Because there's nothing like live Facebooking, is there? Because if you've been with me the last few couple of weeks, I've had some challenges, whether it be audio, whether it be being able to connect. So I'm just going to see how long she'll be. And if it's kind of like 10 minutes, then I'm not going to sit here and chat for 10 minutes. I'll jump off and I'll jump back on again. So I just let her respond before I say too much. So I hope we've all had a good weekend. What have you been up to? Let me know. And I shall get started properly in a bit. Long enough to make me a hot chocolate. Yeah, maybe. If she does take that long, then maybe I'll have to get you a hot chocolate. Didn't know America changed to... Yeah. I am helping you learn something every day. I'm already living my purpose, Hayley. Yeah, it's awkward, isn't it? So, oh dear, what am I going to do with it? Right, anyway, let me just give a bit of an introduction. So I met this lady by putting out some content around values. And she came across my post on Instagram and she shared it. It was all about being really clear on your values, the things that you kind of go away from, so you're away from values, and then the things that, really drive or are really important to you in terms of you're going towards. Loni, she's on. Brilliant. Fantastic. So, she shared my post back in June, and then I checked out some of her content, and then I came across this one post, and it was like we had the same book collection. There was this book here, which is Legacy, which is the 15 lessons that the All Blacks can teach us about business and life. It's one of my favourite leadership books in the entire world, and I saw that she had this amongst others in a pile, and I was like, wow, like I buzz off like-minded people. I buzz off people, that believe and think about leadership and culture and things like that. So I was really curious to think, how does this show up for her in her own work? So I got in touch and I said, we should share ideas. We should have a chat. We should share some ideas. And I'm really pleased to say that she's going to jump on with me today. So without further ado, I am going to... We're on. Didn't have to wait too long, which is good, because the less you have to listen to me, the better. Let's see how this goes. The guest declined. Good start. You're not supposed to decline me.
Hi.
Hey, sorry about the confusion.
No, I'm sorry about the confusion. But now you have to look at me with my morning attire.
Sorry about
The shower.
that.
It's okay.
Amazing. So we got there eventually.
Yes.
Amazing. Will you do me the honor of introducing yourself for me?
My name's Loni Kolek. I was born and raised in Bernie, California, which is a small town in the western United States. Um, I went to high school here. I transferred out of high school here and went to a Christian school about an hour away. And after I graduated, I came back and started a family and began coaching. I think I was 21 years old and I started coaching high school softball.
Mm.
And then volleyball opened up and they asked me to do that. And I coached that for 3 or 4 years. And then I had another baby and stepped away for 5 or 6 years, and now I'm back and love it.
Amazing. And I'm really loving the content that you're putting out around your team and the things that you're seeking to kind of build and achieve. And I guess that's gonna guide some of my questions, because I'm really curious about how all of your ideas and stuff like that shows up on a day-to-day basis. So I was just given an introduction saying that, I saw this book amongst the pile of really awesome books like the Patrick Lencioni and the John Gordons of this world. And I'm just really interested in your take on coaching and leadership. What's your take on leadership?
Well, I think that being a leader, part of that is training up other leaders.
Mm.
Like that's our responsibility. And um, Yeah, as far as the team goes, I think that holding each other accountable is really important. And I found that that's really hard for girls to do,
Okay.
for them to be able to hold their friends accountable. And this year, at the very beginning of the season, we had an instance where there were a couple girls that blew off practice,
Hmm.
and the team was mad because they were like, "Hey, we're here at 7 a.m. Where you at?"
Mm.
And so they held their teammates accountable, and uh, it was interesting because there was two different girls, and it was handled two different ways by each of them. One was very apologetic, and said she was sorry, it would never happen again. And she like bonded to the team, and the other girl kind of made excuses, and then she ended up quitting.
Wow.
And so I thought that was very interesting
Mm.
that the two,
Yeah.
differences in.
How did you create the environment for that to happen?
Well, you have to like be vulnerable to them. So, as a leader, admitting your mistakes
Mm.
and taking ownership of your mistakes and making the vulnerability, I think, builds
Mm.
trust, and then, shared experiences and all of that.
Yeah. Because if you're not
Um,
willing to go first and admit to mistakes, then nobody else around you is able to do that, I guess.
yeah.
Mm.
And the growth mindset too is huge for us.
Okay. Yeah.
We
Tell us
use
more
a
about that.
lot. Um, so if you have an athlete, say, that is really good as a child and they have a lot of natural ability, and you praise how good they are all the time,
Mm.
they tend to peak out and not get any better. But if you have the kid and you're praising them for working
Mm.
hard and not for being good, but for working hard, those kids tend to keep getting better.
Yeah.
And it's the same for anything in the classroom and anything in life, praising the effort. I try
Absolutely.
to remember that with my own kids.
Yeah, it's really key. I mean, my boy Corey, he's 6, and he was challenged by a good friend of mine, Adam Boca, over in Australia, to go Facebook Live, and face kind of fear and overcome fear. And he did a little session yesterday on growth mindset, and it's even at a young age, it's something that can be really, really powerful, just to help them build confidence and just try things they
Yeah,
wouldn't
for sure.
otherwise have tried, which is so powerful. So powerful. So tell me a little bit about what you're trying to build with your team. Tell me a little bit about, what was the start of the season like and how did you build the team?
Our team was, we kind of had a roller coaster season. We went on a trip and to the coast where we had like a 4-day trip. We had three different games, and it was the very beginning of the season. And girls being girls, there was, conflict, and
Mm.
but instead of like pushing it under the rug, we met as a whole and talked about it and hashed it all out. And I believe that everything happens for a
Hmm.
reason, and that nothing great comes without resistance.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of kept telling myself that all of this resistance that we're meeting, something great is going to happen this year.
Hmm.
And we had an amazing season.
Mm.
When I first came back into coaching, the volleyball team hadn't won very many games like in the last several years.
Yep.
And the first year I came back, I think we won one or two games. And then I met this guy at a volleyball coaching clinic that I went to. His name's Ondor July. He's from South Africa, but he lives in Southern California. And he was the one that introduced us to the five dysfunctions of a
Hmm.
team, to that book.
Yep.
And his philosophy is really amazing, some of the things that he brought. And so, um, as we went on, I thought, the definition of insanity, you can't do the same things and expect different results. So I really started digging in and reading whatever I could get my hands on, and
Mm.
as far as leadership and team building stuff. And I really loved the legacy book
Mm.
of the New Zealand All Blacks. And our theme for this year was leaving the jersey in a better place.
Mm.
And I didn't have a single senior on my team this year. Um, but my daughter is a sophomore, and so the sophomore and junior class that I had this year, when they were little, we had a club team. So I've had them for a long time.
Mm,
And then when they got into high school, I have two juniors that have played varsity since they were freshmen.
mm.
And when they came in, it was kind of when that change, that wave started happening. And so that was our theme for the year, leaving the jersey in a better place.
Yeah,
And they were pretty successful in that.
I love that. So there's a couple of things I want to ask about that, but first and foremost, what does how do you have that conversation about leaving the jersey in a better place? What does the kind of team talk about, and what do they do on a day-to-day basis that makes them feel like they're leaving it in a better place?
Well, we talk about being 1% better than you were the day before. And obviously, you can't give 100% every day because life happens
Hmm.
and things happen. But if they can be open and, communicate with me and their team with what's going on in life and just give the best that they can give every
Mm,
day. And, they're the ones going home and looking in the mirror
yeah.
and, you could fool everybody else, but you're not going to fool yourself.
Absolutely, and you said that in the past, you hadn't been the most winningest team, and how do you transfer that belief to a group of people that haven't, found success before?
Um, I don't know. I think that believing, you know, for the start, you have to believe in yourself
Mm,
and believe that you can do it. And sports psychology is so huge. Like we have a rival, 20 miles down the road that we haven't beat them in 10 years.
yeah,
And it kind of becomes mental more than physical.
yeah.
And this year we knew that we could beat them. We played them early on in a tournament and we played horribly. And I think we put all of that pressure onto ourselves, like, oh, we should beat them, we should beat them.
Mm,
And then we just didn't perform. But um, when we knew we were going to play them in playoffs, we just started saying, not that we could beat them, but that we were going to beat them. Like
yeah.
it was just a fact. We're going to win. And uh, I think that, like, subconsciously, that
Mm,
there's, something in your mind that holds you back from achieving things that you should achieve.
yeah. Wow. So you beat the rival in your playoffs. Yeah. How
hmm
did the rest of the season go?
I think we like had an exhale after we beat them, like, whoo, we got over that
Yeah.
mountain. And then we played the following Thursday, and we traveled and played the number two seed, and we lost.
Hmm.
We played well. We, gave them a fight, and they played yesterday for the championships. We lost to them in the semifinals. They won the
Hmm.
championship. And the team that they played, they beat 3-0 also, but we played them way tougher. The scores of those three sets
Mm.
were way closer
So
for us than
how
it
how
was.
did how did how did the team respond, and how do they kind of regroup and go? Where do they go from here?
I think they're already ready for next year.
Hmm.
Especially not graduating any seniors. We'll have the whole team back,
Mm,
and so that's encouraging. And this group of girls, as soon as our floor gets resurfaced in the gym every summer,
mm,
and um, as soon as it was available that first day in July, the kids were in there and they were working hard, and it was almost like Christmas for them.
yeah.
And so just building that excitement, and they've been the talk of our town, our little town, for the last week, like going into the grocery stores like, "Oh, congratulations on your season."
Amazing.
So that's a lot of fun. It, you know, hopefully it will bring the community together a little more, and yeah.
I love that. What sort of culture are you trying to build?
Um a culture where kids can work hard, that they have something to be proud of, that, mistakes are welcome.
Mm,
We want them to make mistakes and grow and become humans that, are good people, that we're sending out leaders into the world.
mm,
And, um, yeah.
that's amazing. What do you bring? What's your leadership style?
Um, I don't know. I am firm, but I don't want them to be scared,
Hmm.
but I want them to be held accountable. And, um, we only had 7 girls on our team. One of them was our foreign exchange
Hmm.
student, and she's like, "No, don't put me in, don't put me in." But this group of girls was just so bonded
Yeah.
and close. They're not all best friends off
Hmm.
of the court, and they have their differences, but once they come onto the court,
Mm.
you would almost never know
Yeah.
that they had any differences at all. Um,
What do you think helped that?
but I think that holding each other accountable,
Hmm.
and because of that, they have trust.
Yeah. What are they holding each
They
other
know
accountable to?
that their teammates to doing the right things, to being at practice
Yeah.
and working hard. Coming to practice is kind of an issue we have at our school.
Hmm.
We have kids that miss practice for silly
Mm.
reasons, but we had a girl play with the flu this year. She was very, very sick, and she came to school the day of the game, and it was this particular game was like an all-out battle with the
Mm.
other team. We went 5 sets
Wow.
and ended up losing by 2.
Wow.
Um, and she played sick.
Mm.
So I think that is something right there that shows that they're just so committed to each other.
Mm.
And I love that,
Yeah.
that they don't want to let each other down.
Mm. Yeah, that's really powerful, isn't it? Sometimes we can do more for other people than we can do it for ourselves.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
What's the culture like at the school with other sports departments?
Um, I think that we're, trying to build it back up. We did switch leagues. The league that we switched, I think this was our third volleyball season in this new league.
Yeah.
But the league we were in before because it's kind of demographic, the league that you belong to, but um, they were all much bigger school sizes than us.
Mm.
And so it was kind of difficult because we didn't have as big of a pool to draw from.
Yep.
But so I think switching leagues and being more competitive has kind of helped.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you think's been the biggest learning this year for your team?
I think that, being committed to each other,
Mm.
and that there's so much that's possible if you believe in yourself and are committed to each other and play for each other.
Yeah.
That I think that was probably our biggest takeaway
Mm.
from the year, especially with 6 kids. I can't tell you the amount of games that we played or tournaments that we went to
Yeah.
that there wasn't somebody that came up and said, "Oh my gosh, your team is so fun to watch."
Yeah.
And these kids kind of like won the hearts of their community,
Yeah.
and even the, volleyball fans from other places, people were just cheering for them and
Mm.
wanted to see them do well because, they didn't really have any subs.
Yeah.
It was just them, and if they were, making mistakes, they had to find a way to
Yeah.
blow it off and worry about the next points.
That's
So
amazing. What do you?
they became
Yeah, Karen.
mentally tough,
Yeah.
as well as physically tough, but
What helped that?
mentally tough too.
What helped with that?
Um, I don't know. I just think that, picking each other up,
Yeah.
after making mistakes, like, hey, you can do it. Come on, let's get the next ones.
Yeah.
Um, their teammates really just picked them up and helped them out.
Amazing. What do you think it means to them to be a Lady Raider? What does it mean to them, to put on that jersey, as it were?
I think that, okay, when these younger girls, when they first came into the program as freshmen and sophomores, it wasn't necessarily a desirable thing. I remember when I was a kid in junior high at Bernie High School, looking at the girls and thinking, oh my gosh, I can't wait to be that
Mm.
and put on that uniform. And when some of these girls stepped onto the court, for the first time, they were freshmen playing at varsity. And I just remember telling them, you know, um, make this better than the way that you found it, and make these little girls want to be you. Like, I don't know that they necessarily had that to look up
Yeah.
to so much as the ones under them do now.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. So my whole ethos around my coaching practice is called always better than yesterday. And you touched on it a little bit earlier around about 1% better than you were yesterday. Tell me a little bit about what always better than yesterday means to you.
Um, it means to me that if you always strive to be better and not settling for, you know, um, our school is small,
Mhm.
so, and there's only 6 kids on our team, so there's nobody under them pushing them to be, to take their spot.
Yeah.
So they have to really be motivated themselves to push themselves because there's nobody behind them pushing them.
Mm.
Whereas at bigger schools where there's, a bench of people behind you, that if you're not going to push and dig in to get better, then
Yeah.
somebody's going to take your spot.
Yeah. Amazing. So what are some of the ways in which you help the team be better than yesterday?
Um, I think just kind of being on top of them to stay focused and, don't settle. Don't
Mm.
settle for being good here. There's always somebody that's better than you.
Yeah.
And if you don't work for it, you're going to get passed up.
Absolutely. So, give my best wishes to the team for next season. When does it start off next season?
Um, like probably
Hmm.
July with open gym,
Hmm.
which is not a mandatory thing, but the core kids show up every
Yeah,
day, sometimes twice a
yeah.
day.
So that's quite a little while to wait. So there's a bit of an off season to get better, I guess, and to come together and
Yeah.
yeah, give my best wishes to the team. Like, if you want to have a new theme for next year, by all means, be always better than yesterday.
Okay.
Always better than yesterday. And yeah, it's been a pleasure to talk to you a little bit more about kind of your view on leadership and how you show up and as a coach. And I guess, you know, where where are you looking to take your coaching next? What are you looking to develop next with?
I think always being better than yesterday.
Yeah,
I love the off season for during volleyball. It's just go, 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 go.
yeah,
Like my house is a mess, my car is a mess. I've been, living out of my and having 4 kids,
yeah.
but I love reading. I love like the culture code. I got a
Hmm.
lot out of that book also.
Yeah,
So I already have a list that has started for me to start reading more books. But
amazing.
in life, the game is changing so much too that you have to keep up.
Yeah,
It's not the same as what I played when I was in school, and that's fun.
yeah.
I
And the thing I find as well as being a coach is that, too often we can get precious about um, being competitive. Like, there are some coaches out there that can be quite competitive, and actually I think the best thing that I found is going to coaches I respect and admire and just learning from them as best we possibly can. And that's kind of a little bit why I
Yeah.
asked around the other sports departments. It's one school, it's one culture, it's we all win. I love just creating a win-win environment.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm always up for continuing the conversation to see. I mean, I've just started coaching a little ruggers, a little rugby team. So they're all kind of 6 years old,
Oh,
and the thing for me, I'm really looking forward to kind of going up with the age groups. Going from a really young 6 years old, up over the next 10 years, and using some principles
yeah.
in the things like this around being really clear around who we are, what we stand for, that growth mindset. And I'm really enjoying my start of my coaching journey, and if I can surround myself with people like you and learn a little bit more from you, then that will help me be always better than yesterday.
It's so rewarding to watch them and
Yeah,
grow up with them. I love it. I have a picture on my refrigerator with think we only have one girl on our team that joined us when she was a freshman, but I have a picture on my refrigerator of my high school team as little girls,
Mm,
and I love it. I love that they, are here and grow together and work together,
yeah,
and it's rewarding to see them
amazing.
have
Where
success.
where can our viewers, our listeners, find out more about you and your social media following?
Okay.
Where can they find you?
Oh, where can you find
Yeah,
me? Um, I think you already have found me on there,
yeah,
haven't you? On Instagram and Facebook?
yeah. So yeah? So should we share your profiles in the comments so that people can check you out?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Of course.
amazing. Would you like to leave a final thought?
Um, I don't know. I think that, like you said, surrounding yourself. I read something the other day about if you're the smartest person in the room,
Mm,
there's a problem.
yeah,
I played in high school for a coach in softball, and he was incredible. He had this way of pulling amazing things out of kids that I don't think that they even knew that they had
love
in
that.
them.
Yeah,
And he was like I kind of hated him on the field, to be honest.
yeah.
Like he was always making me so mad, but he pushed so much
Mm,
and made us all better people and better players too. He's actually the head basketball coach at Simpson College now,
hmm.
which is a college in our area, and he's doing amazing things there, turning that program around.
Yeah,
And but he always says, that he surrounds himself with people that know more than him, and I think that as a leader, striving to always be better
mm,
and putting yourself around people like that
great
that you can
advice.
always learn from.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Can I just say thank you for taking the time out? Sorry about the time confusion.
Of course. It's okay.
And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I look forward to speaking again soon.
Yes, thank you.
Amazing. Guys, can I just say thank you for tuning in? Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen, to watch. If you've got any questions for Loni, then please do stick them in the comments. Hi, Chris. How are we doing? Hope we're well. So yeah, drop in any comment questions. Would you be happy to jump in and answer any of the questions as they come through?
Of course.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Have a wonderful week, guys. Set it up well with the right intentions, and I hope that you will win. Thank you very much, Loni, and I'll speak to you again soon.
You're welcome.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Ryan.